going on, my fellow nerds? It's, of course, Brandon, that nerd guy. And I kind of want to take a detour tonight. I got the lights down low. It's dimly lit in here for a purpose. I want to tell you guys a couple stories. Well, I want to tell you a story. Now, if you look at my videos below, you look at all the funny stuff I post, all the, game reviews, my normal nerd self. Well, you see that side of me, but there's also a different side of me, and there's a hobby that I do that is very dear to my heart, and I'm also a paranormal investigator. Legit, I've been doing this for almost about a little over a decade. And I am with a group called Black Raven Paranormal. We're based out of Stanton, Virginia. And we go up and down the East Coast and all over the country to all these haunted locations you see on TV, or you've seen on Ghost Adventures, you've seen on Ghost Hunters, Deep South Paranormal, Paranormal State, Fact or Fiction, all these shows. So where you see is where we really go. So check us out, blackravenparanormal.com. You'll see all the places we've been, all the locations we've done, all of the evidence we've captured, our experiences, and then links to other sites that we are endorsed in. We are actually official Ghost Adventure Crew members. So we're members with Ghost Adventures. So that's always cool. So I wanted to do, you see all my other videos, I have fun. I wanted to do a little bit of a detour. I want to try a new series on here. And it's up to you guys if you like it or not. What I wanted to do... Get that in my mouth. I had an apple earlier and it's like stuck in my mouth. What I want to do is I want to take my investigations, where I've been, and my story, what's happened to me, anything happened to me since, from these investigations. This is my story, along with the team's story of stuff that's happened to them at these locations we've been to do our investigation. So if you like it, if you want to hear more stories from more haunted locations, comment down below. If you don't like it, let me know. And guess what? This is the last one. So this is my haunted stories from my haunted locations I've been in. And I wanted to start off strong. I want to start off with the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast in Fall River, Massachusetts. Now, we did this location 2 years ago, and it was an amazing experience. Of course, Lizzie Borden, famous trial in 1892, was acquitted of killing her father and her stepmother in cold blood with a hatchet. Of course, Abby and Andrew Borden were unrecognizable, after it was done. Now, the whole thing is Lizzie Borden had an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks when she saw what she had done. She gave her father 41. Well, that's BS. It wasn't like that. Now, we get to a point in the story where my personal opinion comes in. So, I don't think she actually did it. I don't think she carried out the murders. I think the murders were carried out by somebody else. She had a part to play in it as a conspirator. Now, Andrew Borden had a lot of enemies. He had a lot of people that didn't like him, that probably wouldn't have cared to see him die. So, I think the hatchet was in somebody else's hand, and it was just taken over, and Lizzie more or less orchestrated the whole thing. Now, you take her sister and the maid Maggie. Whether it was an inside job with that, nobody's ever going to know. Nobody's ever going to know the full truth. It's been too far gone. So I got the lights turned down low and insert kind of creepy music now. And let's tell my story. So, me and the team traveled to Fall River, Massachusetts to investigate the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. And we got down there, we checked in. I had the upstairs room where the help usually was. Now, my room was a decent sized room. It was pretty cool. The funny thing about that is when I looked out the window, what I saw was a nuclear power plant. So I thought that was kind of awesome. So we check in, and of course my room is notably haunted by children. Children apparently haunted the room. For some reason, the door to this little crawl space would open and close and the door to the room would open and close, and all kinds of interesting stuff. So we checked in, we did everything we had to do, and now on to the investigation. Nobody wants to hear about all the funny stuff we did, and I'll get to that. If you guys want to hear about the funny stuff we do between the investigations, let me know. It's actually funny stories to tell. So the investigation was interesting, to say the least. Now, take away the whole haunted aspect. We're in a house where 2 people were brutally murdered with a hatchet. Abby Borden, the back of her head was caved in. It was just, I struck her down, and I actually ended up I laid on the ground where she was murdered. The famous photo of her laying face down, I laid there. And the feeling that came over me was just emotion. You know, nothing sinister, nothing demonic, just sad. You know, nobody deserves to die that kind of way. Nobody. So it was sad. It really was. So it was hard to explain the emotion feeling more or less beyond sad. And I laid on the couch. Now, it's not, I don't think it's the original couch, but it was a replica that looks just like it. And I've laid it was in the exact same spot as the old couch, and I laid the exact same way that Andrew Borden did when he was murdered. And it's another eerie kind of feeling, being in the same bedroom that Lizzie slept in. Now, I didn't sleep in that room, but, you know, walking through it and during our investigation, just being in that room, it was interesting, to say the least. But the majority of the night, it was kind of quiet, kind of sad, but it was quiet. But we did a EVP session and box session in the sitting room where Andrew was killed. And we had the spirit box running, and we had the K2 on, and we had all the recorders were running. There was about 5 or 6 of us in the room. We had all the recorders running. We're taking pictures, and we start asking questions, and the responses we're getting were pretty good. It was a man pretty much screaming. The question was brought up: did Andrew have any kind of incestuous relationships with Lizzie? And a response came over the box, and it was mad. It was a man yelling and screaming. It was kind of incoherent. We couldn't understand really what he was saying, but it was mad. It was really loud. And around that point, too, the K2 just spikes. The millimeter goes up, the K2 spikes. We have a huge EMF spike in that room. Now, keep in mind, before that session, it was quiet. K2 was dead. Millimeter was dead. Nothing was coming over the box. It was static. Nothing coming over the recorders. No experiences are going on. It is just pandemonium for like 15 seconds, and all of a sudden it was just done. So that was interesting. And then the rest of the investigation, nothing really happened. But to walk in the same locations, to be in the same rooms as these people lived. You have Lizzie and Emma and Abby and Andrew. It was just surreal, because you really are in a crime scene. You are standing and staying. We stayed overnight. We actually slept there, where it was a double homicide, and one of the most famous double homicides in America, probably of all time. Now, that was during the investigation. Afterwards, you know, everybody broke off to go to sleep. Well, a few of us didn't want to sleep, so we ran another box session. And during this box session, it was one of the most intense box sessions I've ever been a part of, because we held nothing back. We dove into it. We put Lizzie on trial. And what came over was the word sledge. Kept on coming over. What we think is the word sledge, over and over. Now, people that do box sessions, investigators that deal with the spirit box, you never get the same response over and over again. You hardly ever get the same response twice. And I think the number count for the word sledge came up 20-something times. Now, whether that was a nickname, it was a pet name, whatever you want to call it. It came up over and over again. So whatever it may have been, whoever it may have been coming through the box. Now I also have to remember that there was family in town during the murders. So it could have easily been, family on family crime, but it wasn't Lizzie. I still don't think it was Lizzie. But that session, I left that session and had a whole new outlook on the whole case. I walked into that investigation not thinking Lizzie did it, and I left there knowing Lizzie did not do it. Now, I go to sleep, so I think. So I lay down in bed, everybody's asleep. Not everybody. Something or somebody was walking up and down the hallway all night long. It would stop at my door, turn around, walk away. Stop at the other door, turn around, walk back towards me, like pacing back and forth. That could have been Maggie. Could have been the maid. Could have been Lizzie. Upstairs just pacing around. Don't know. But I will say this. If you find yourself in Fall River, Massachusetts, which is not too far from Salem, so that's another story. Our trip to Salem during the investigation. It was pretty cool. We were up there for about a couple of days. So, but if you ever find yourself in Fall River and you want to truly spend the night in a haunted place that has blood still in the walls. There is still blood downstairs in the wash basin where they tried to wash off the hatchet. The Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. And it's a location that I will never forget, and hopefully we get a chance to go back up there. And it's an experience that will keep you up at night. And my advice to you, if you do go there and you do your own little investigation, is be smart. Always watch your questioning, because you never know who you're going to come across. But if you find yourself one-on-one with Lizzie Borden, if you find yourself one-on-one with Lizzie, put her on trial. Maybe you'll find the right answer. Maybe you'll crack the case and find out who killed Abby and Andrew Borden. So guys, if you like this little segment, comment down below. I got plenty more investigations, places like St. Albans Sanatorium, Pennhurst Asylum, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and the Moon River Brewing Company, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Antietam Battlefield. I have a bunch of stories, and I would like to tell them to you if you'd like to hear them. So guys, if you want to hear more, comment down below. I'll be more than glad to post more videos. This was just a test run. Like I said, I got the lights down low. I'm telling ghost stories. What's more fun than that? Well guys, I'll holler at y'all later. And make sure to check under the bed before you go to sleep.